Okay, we've got a 50-50 setup. So each circuit has 3 stations. You work 50 seconds of 1, 50 seconds of 2, 50 seconds of 3, then right back into that first one again, 50-50-50. So it's 6 rounds of 50 seconds at once. Then you get a 50-second break. Then you move to 3 new exercises. You get 2 rounds through those, and then you keep going through the circuits. As far as equipment, you'll want a few different weights if you have weighted objects. The heaviest object you have, we'll be doing some squats, so we'll be holding it in front. We probably want medium weight. We're going to do some Russian twists, so sitting on the floor, one side to side. We're also going to have a single leg RDL with a curl too. So as heavy of objects as you want to use for that. You'll want a bench or a couch or a chair, something for a target for a pistol squat. We're going down and coming back up. You'll also want sliders. We're going to have some hamstring curls laying on your back, and then also some wall space for some tricep push-ups. So hopefully you've got a wall nearby. So first circuit, we'll have 3 stations: a single arm reverse lunge, a Russian twist, and a plank reach. The reverse lunge is the one you're going to be holding on to one dumbbell here. The Russian twist, as I showed you before, if you want to wait for this one, it's going to be twisting side to side. And then last one is going to be a plank with a reach, which you can do opposite arm and leg there. So we'll get started in about 10 seconds with the single arm reverse lunge. And for these 50-second rounds, just do one side for the first 50.
Here's a lovely demo from Benjamin. Reverse lunge and a knee tuck. We're gonna hold the weight on the stationary side of the movement, reaching back through the other leg, standing tall to a knee tuck about hip height. If you feel stable, maybe take an extra half-second pause at the top. We've talked about it before, but sometimes changing the speed of the movement makes things a little harder. So if you're moving quickly, maybe slow it down, see if it's more challenging for you. We have 15 seconds here still on this first exercise. After this, we'll move on to a Russian twist. So we'll be on our butt with some weight perhaps. You could also go body weight. 3, 2, and being 50-50, we're straight into that next exercise. Heels could maintain contact with the floor if you wanted to. Otherwise, the feet are up. Lean back as much as it is appropriate with some torso rotation. Another 25. We're going to pair 2 ab stations together. In this first series, we have Russian twist and plank with a reach. The combination should be awesome. It's a good start to the day. 10 seconds out. 5. And discard that dumbbell. Roll into a plank. If you want to use that dumbbell as a goal out there in space, reach out to that bell. We're not going opposite leg unless you wanted to. Just sell out, keep those hips firm. Think about trying to preload the body a bit, anticipate that movement, prep for it, reach out. Think about having your favorite beverage on your low back, staying as strong as you can to the core. Nice slow reach. Little touch out there in space. 15 seconds to go, and then we'll stand up for that reverse lunge again. This time on the other leg. In 5, 2, single arm, reverse lunge on the other side of things. You can be heavy on that back foot as it contacts the floor. It's going to make this exercise quite a bit easier. If you instead think about using that front leg almost like a pistol squat or a curtsy lunge, so really light on that back foot. Use the glute, hamstring on the way down, and then try to also use that to draw yourself back up. We have 15 seconds here, and we'll go into the seated Russian twist. 3, 2, butt for that rush and twist. Again, feet could be up, could be down. If it's bugging your hip flexors, you might want to put the feet down. And same thing for the back. But if you feel strong, go ahead and lean back into it. Not quite a dead bug position, obviously, but definitely leaning back to find a more challenging position. 25 seconds out. Then we'll finish the first series with the plank and reach. 3, 2, roll into that plank position. And the wider we have our feet here, the more stability you'll find, the easier this movement is. So if the movement's feeling comfortable, pull those feet in a little narrower, and you can also increase the duration of that reach. 20 seconds. After our 20 seconds here, we'll take a 50-second rest period. You're gonna need a band for your next series of 3. 10 seconds out. So find a band, guys, that's gonna go above the knees.
Forgot to mention the band part at the intro, so hopefully you've got one sitting around. Otherwise, just get a partner to squeeze your knees together. And manual
Ben and I are
resistance.
going to demo that though. What do we have? We have band squat pulses for our first thing. We'll sit down. This one's tight. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. Yeah, some band squat pulses. Then we're going to go, yes, into a single leg glute bridge with the band on one leg, and then we'll go push-up pulse. And we're going to keep that band on throughout all 3 things. So the band should be in a comfortable position. We have the band squat pulses first.
So just sitting your butt back, you're staying low. The pulsing part means you're staying pretty much in the bottom half of the squat, not coming all the way to the top, and that creates a little more tension, doesn't give you that rest period at the top of the squat. The whole time the knees are going to be pulled together by the band, and you are pushing against it to resist that pressure. So 15 seconds ago, you're breathing through, and then the next one you're going to be on your back for that single leg glute bridge, keeping the band right where it is. 5. Oh, yeah. So finding the right foot position for that, you can. Lots of times people get a little too far away from their butt, away from their body with their heel, so it is good to be fairly close, but you can usually find a good spot where you can get that good extension at the top, lifting those hips up, but you don't feel like you're cramping up anywhere either. You want to keep pretty much all the weight in the heel. It's okay if the toes are down on the floor, but you still want to keep all the weight in the heel on that down foot. And the whole time you're keeping the legs apart. You can't necessarily see it from this angle, but there's constant tension on that band. You're pushing against that band. So 7 seconds to go. And then we're going to be on to those push-ups with a pulse. And you can leave your band on for these 2. So from your knees or from your toes, this is that push-up, go down, get the pulse. So pretty much that half rep down at the bottom. And then a good exhale as you come up to the top. So whether you are on knees or toes, you keep that good plank position. The body stays one unit, moving up and down, driving the palms into the floor. 20 seconds to go. After this, you'll be back up onto your feet for those squat pulses. Another 7 seconds, couple more. So then stay in the same place, never have to move that during this circuit. Staying low. Good balance on the feet, so a lot of weight in the heels, but you're still keeping toes down too. And if you feel like your low back gets a little tight on these, make sure you're bracing those abs too. You can also keep it a little shallower with the depth. But keep the abs engaged. If you get relaxed on the front side, you're going to end up feeling more pressure in the back. So another 18 seconds. And then you'll be down onto your back for that single leg glute bridge. Six seconds, a couple more. 2, 1, down onto the floor. So other leg, knees stay apart the whole time. And that up leg, you can have it straight like that. You could have it bent knee as well. However, you can keep some tension, but you just kind of keep it off to the side so it's not getting in the way. Squeezing your butt tight at the top. 20 to go. "12 seconds, then you're going to finish up with those push-ups with the pulse. Three, 2, 1. And to make these harder, obviously you can go from your toes. You can also draw out that pulse a little longer, make it a little slow-mo pulse at the bottom. That's going to be the most challenging part when you're doing that little bounce back and forth. So slow that part down, make it a little extra long pulse at the bottom. So 25 seconds, then you're going to get your 50-second break. And then we'll get into a new circuit of fun. Belly buttons pulled up away from the floor. 12 seconds to go. 3. Alright, you can take that band off. You won't need it for the next circuit. So next circuit, you're going to want your heaviest weighted object. It's going to be a squat with a pulse. So it can be a backpack. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a dumbbell or anything like that. It can just be a weighted object. We're going to need a wall for tricep push-ups too. And then
in the middle of it all.
Switch is in the middle. So goblet, pulse, squat, side plank, switches down on the floor, and then a wall tricep push-up coming up for you.
5 seconds after, guys. In this goblet squat, we're just doing a single pulse. Think of it as perhaps a half rep at the bottom. So sit full range of motion, halfway up, and all the way tall. Imagine still having that band around your knees, so you're still pressing out in the knees to find some glutes, some knee stability. You're likely inhaling on the way down, maybe hold to that pulse and then start that exhale on the way back up. 15 seconds out. And then side plank with a switch. We'll start on a single side, reach the forearm under to match the position, and then reach the other arm up tall. 5 seconds, time for one more rep if you want it. 3, 2, into that side plank position. This can be done from knees. Most of us will do it from our toes. Match the forearms, reach the arm tall. And then our goal is to keep the hips high when we get to that end position there. The hip bone's still nice and high. Still nice and high. And this is definitely not a speed movement, so take your time. Use that oblique to keep the hips up and strong. 20 seconds. And this third exercise coming up is a wall tricep. If you have access to a wall that doesn't have a cute family picture on it, or other, that's where you're heading next. 5 seconds out. 2. If you want to or need to, you can exchange for dips. The angle here is going to be the indicator of effort. The closer you are to the wall, the more relaxing it will feel. So moving further from the wall is going to intensify it. And one other thing to focus on is keep the glutes tight and take your hip bones forward. So as the chest starts to fall in, your hips better also. You can almost think about leading through the hips. You're not gonna arch your back, but let the hips settle in, bend the arms, drive out. A lot of people have a tendency to let the upper body go by itself and they don't move the hips. 10 seconds. In 5 seconds, get your dumbbell back under your chin for a pulse. So nice goblet squat here. Add that pulse at the bottom. And find most of the weight in the heels. Hopefully you have something heavy you can work with here. And the depth of it, as Ben mentioned in the squat pulses that I had in the band series earlier, if it bugs your back, modify the depth. While we say a full depth squat, that is individualized. So if somebody can go deeper, fantastic. If you can't, that's okay. Just do whatever depth is appropriate for you. 10 seconds. Then after the squats, side plank with rotation. Rotation meaning switch. 2. You could go from your knees, but if it's good, go from your toes. Stacking the ankles together and moving uniform is going to be harder. Having the feet unstacked will give you a little bigger base of support, so it'll give you more stability there. So if you find yourself almost falling over, then separate your feet. If you feel strong, keep those ankles almost tied together. 15 seconds out. And then the last exercise of the series again is that wall tricep press. 5. And as you come in, hopefully you're making very light contact from the elbows to the wall, not completely disengaging. So keep tension in the triceps, a light tap, and then a nice press. Lats should stay tight as well, so shoulders stay depressed. Glutes stay tight, hips come forward. 20 seconds out. As you fatigue, you can move your hands up the wall and tiptoe in to reduce the effort. 10 seconds. 5. Good, we're resting. 50 seconds off. You're gonna want some lighter dumbbells for this series. Maybe have medium for one of them, but definitely light for the first one. First one's going to be a renegade row. Okay, I get to do it as homework in a push-up position. Hit a push-up, right arm row, left arm row, hit a push-up. Right arm row, left arm row, hit a push-up. Second thing is going to be a double arm squat, curl, overhead press. And then we need discs as well for eccentric hamstring curls. So you need light dumbbells or medium, and then do your discs handy as well. I might do some of these renegade rows for my knees. Don't judge me. It's cool. But I'll start with my toes. You're up, you.
Just got your push-up, row, row. Having that wide base with your feet or your knees is important too on the row to help you keep some stability. And depending on what objects you have, you may not be able to have one in each hand. It might just be one size. You do your push-up, row 1, push-up, row the same one, and then the next round through you can switch.
Or you just roll over if you want.
So yeah, depending on what object you have, it could be different. Kind of figure out what works best for you. 12 seconds to go. Second one's going to be that squat curl to overhead press. So you'll want dumbbells again, could be the same weights. So 3 movements, but they all kind of blend into one. You've got that squat, you've got that curl up to the shoulders, and then the press up overhead. If you only have one heavier object, you can hold it in front and it still works. Just do it, kind of keep it in the midline of your body. And keep it a pretty smooth movement. Let the momentum kind of carry through the whole thing. You don't have to break it down into each part. So it keeps you in a good rhythm, allows you to get a good number of reps in here. 12 seconds to go. Good exhale as you're finishing that movement up towards the top. And then last one, you'll need those sliders for those eccentric hamstring curls. So you're going to be down on your back in 2, 1. You want your heels on the sliders. Try to get them in the middle of the slider if you can. Going to bridge up, squeeze your butt tight, and then slowly release. And you're going to go all the way down till your body's down the floor. And then there's the option, you can keep the hips up and try to pull yourself back up to the top. That gets extremely challenging. If you're really good at these, spend more time in the bottom half of the movement. The first few inches aren't typically too challenging, 15 seconds left. But the last bit is where the hamstrings are in that more stretched position. So spend more time on that second part if you feel like these are easy for you. But butt tight the whole time, 5 seconds. And then you're going to be back to those renegade rows. So you've got your 1 or 2 weighted objects here, feet wide or knees wide. Keep push up and then row. This is good full body movement, or at least full pretty much from the hips and up, because your core is getting a ton of work, your shoulders and your chest are working a lot too. 25. And as Kyle mentioned before, as far as tempo goes, if you try to keep a good tempo on these, you should definitely be burned out by the time you get done. 15 seconds left. Seven seconds, then be up to your feet, that squat curl to overhead press. So 2 things left here. And it's good breathing, because this one will turn into almost a cardio type movement if you keep in a good rhythm with it. So breathe consistently, stay on top of that. 20 to go. And then after this, you'll finish up with those sliders and that eccentric hamstring curl. Five. Weights aside, laying on your back, heels on the middle of the slider. If these are really challenging for you, you could always just release 1 foot at a time while keeping the other one up. Or you could just turn these into a glute bridge, where you're just staying down, bridging up and down with the hips, not worrying about that release. But we're trying to avoid arching that low back as well. So keep some tension in the abs and tension in the glutes, and that should help protect that low back. 18 seconds go, then you're going to get the 50-second break. Seven. All right, nice work. So this circuit, all you will need is a bench or a chair or a couch or some object for your pistol squat. So make sure you have the right depth figured out. We've done these enough times, hopefully you have it figured out by now. We're going to have eccentric push-ups the first one, so slow motion on the way down. We'll have V-ups, which will be down on the floor on your back, and then those pistol squats. And I mentioned we'll go in about 10 seconds with the push-ups first.
On the eccentric push-up, maybe look for a 5 to 8 second release. If you guys think that's easy, pull one foot off the floor and do a single leg eccentric push-up. That'll load the abs a little more, load that hip a little more. Yeah. Some people are like, oh, more eccentric push-ups. Well, work harder. Put your feet up higher. Go inverted. I don't know. Do something else. 20 seconds. For everybody else out there that loves us, you can do them as we are and or from your knees. 10 seconds out. What's number 2, Ben? I can't see. V-ups. We have V-ups coming up. It's written as V-ups, which to us means double leg, but if you would prefer a single leg V-up, is fantastic. It's going to be a little easier in the back, a little easier in the core, but a double leg V-up is cool. You could keep the knees bent. You could be more of a crunch position or come to a full sit-up. You might find the knees bent with a heel tap works well. Hands might go all the way overhead making contact. It's just a V-up. Just reach out, draw yourself back in, under control. And as you're coming up, drive that back down into the floor. Use your core. While our arms are synced in the movement, perhaps we're not using them as much as we could by throwing them around.
Got warm in here. I'm turning the fan.
10 seconds.
Pistol squats. Grab your thing, your coffee table, your couch, your chair, or maybe you're doing freeform. But pistol squat, come down, keep the weight in the foot. Touch the item if it's appropriate, but then you're gonna hopefully not disengage completely on that leg. So keeping some tension. We're 25 seconds out here. And then after pistol squat on this leg, we'll go back into the eccentric push-up. 15 seconds out. Three. Eccentric push-ups, guys. Twenty seconds out. Remember, if you want to make it harder, go single leg. Otherwise, a nice slow push-up works well. We'll say 5 to 8 seconds on the way down. 10 seconds out. 5. 4. Back to V-ups. Again, it could be single leg or double leg. But there's some movement here, reaching overhead, reach the legs down, draw yourself up. We talk a lot about speed. If you're a fast mover, slow it down. Focus on your core. Use your core to draw yourself up. Don't be spastic and thrash. 20 seconds. And then we'll finish the series with pistol squats. 10. 5. Switching legs with a pistol. Kind of 3 different stances you can take. The leg can stay long out off the floor. The leg can stay long with heel on the ground. Or you can run the legs parallel together. So if your stability is not great, put that foot down. If it's going to bug your hip flexor, keep the knee crimped. If you're doing well, keep that leg extended out away from the body. 20 seconds here. And after this, we'll take that 50-second rest. 10. 2. Resting. My phone right next door. Because I had like 8 different videos
that.
recently deleted, but I hadn't actually wiped and deleted folders, right? We're gonna have a circle crawl, opposite arm, opposite leg, move in kind of maybe a 90 or 180 degree pattern. We'll have a single leg RDL with a curl at the top, so maybe a little light to moderate weight there, and then a lunge pulse jump. Hardest part of this lunge pulse jump back to that circle crawl is gonna suck a lot. As many weights, not yet, but I'll get them. We'll get through it together. 5.
So you get in that good quad plank position, just like our other kinds of crawling, but now you're rotating. You're staying in one spot, but your body's turning versus going forward, backwards, or side to side. Good flat back throughout. Legs have some good work going on. Your shoulders are working, your core is working. And you can decide how far around you want to go. I mean, you could do a full circle and then back the other way. You could do a half circle. You could just do 90 degrees if you're getting a little dizzy. 15 seconds to go. But you want to try to even it out so you end up going both directions on this one. 5 seconds to go. Then you're going to be in that single leg RDL to curl. So you want your objects there, whatever weight you've got. These would be probably on the medium side of weight, but if you only have one thing, just grab that. And as before, if it's just one object you have, like a milk jug or laundry detergent, you can just hold that in front. It should still work. So good flat back, that back leg straight behind you. Keeping a lot of weight on the front heel. You want to feel your butt and your hamstring working a lot on that down leg. 15 to go. And at the top, good posture, chest is up, finish that curl. 8 seconds, then we're going to be in that lunge, pulse, jump coming up next. So weights off to the side. So you get that down to the floor, you get a pulse at the bottom and the hop too. So there's a lot of things going on in each rep. But if it feels easy, you work on getting low. That pulse should keep you pretty low to the floor. And then work on getting a big jump on the top too if you're feeling like this is easy. If you need to avoid the impact, just take out that hop at the top. You can still push up like you're gonna try to jump, but not actually get off the floor. A lot of weight forward, 13 seconds to go. After this, you're going to go back into that circle crawl. So down on the hands and toes in 4 seconds.
You guys went the same leg, single leg RDL, and the same leg on your splits for your jumps. Same leg forward, that's good.
Yeah, that's tough. Just everything between the shoulders and the hips has to stay engaged. Keeping the back as flat as you can. 20 seconds to go. Last 10. And 3, 2, 1. Grab those weights again. Single leg RDL to curl on the other side. So you think about reaching that heel towards the wall behind you, or whatever you have behind you, reaching that back. So the hips actually do shift backwards a little bit as the upper body comes forward to counterbalance. Halfway through. And as you come down those dumbbells or whatever weight you have, but pretty much coming across the toes about that level, not trying to reach really far forward, not trying to reach backwards too much, just straight down. 12 seconds to go, and then you'll finish up with that other leg, lunge, pulse, hop. 6. So get through this good burnout here, and you can see from this angle too, getting really good depth on that lunge makes it more challenging. Front leg's loaded a ton. You are pushing a little bit off your back leg too, but keep more of the focus on the front leg. "20 seconds to go, then we're going to be on our last circuit. Last 5. Alright, got it. Some more squat pulses on this one. 30 seconds. No, you're good.
A low lateral.
Let's do it.
Alright, this one, not the most fun to finish out with. We're going to have our plank jacks. So you're in the plank position there. You have broad jumps. You want a little bit of space for jumping forward, soft landing, and then some more squat pulses. So sit the butt back, going up and down there. Last round, the last 5 minutes before we get into some stretching.
Yeah. Slightly leg heavy, guys. We're alright though. Quads are probably going to immediately just feel this plank, just the plank itself and that little dynamic pop out. Quads are a little excited. Ben's demoing a lateral foot tap, which is a great regression. If you needed to, a kneeling lateral tap works great too. Be gentle. Make sure your hips are up high, so as you take that landing, they don't sink down below, kind of that neutral position. 10 seconds out. Next up is a broad jump. Ignore that. Nice soft landing. Don't worry about getting too much distance if you can't, but if you have space, go ahead and fire out there. Just be sure that landing is controlled. Slowly take the weight from that squat and transfer it into your legs. 20 seconds out. If Ben would prefer, you could do mountain climbers instead of squat pulses.
No thanks.
5 seconds. 2. Ben and I are meeting right now on an off day, and unknowingly, Ben went for a nice run this morning, and then after that I was like, hey Ben, by the way, I need to meet tonight. This is a night workout. We don't do night workouts. We do today though. 15 seconds out. So long story short, Ben's legs are just a little fatigued. It's good for him. 10. I told you guys a couple videos ago, we're going to make him into a runner. 5. 2. All this core work, all this leg work, man, you're going to be great. That lengthy stride. Plank jacks, guys, or plank lateral tap, or a kneeling lateral tap, or just a plank position. Legs are definitely warm. Control the hips. Make sure they stay high enough to keep you out of danger. "15 seconds. We have a broad jump next and then squat pulses to finish. Then we'll go into some stretches. 5, 1 or 2 reps. Do another one. Yeah, good. Broad jumps. Work on that landing, try to absorb it. "30 seconds out. And again, if you have space to explore, get some distance here, but just make sure you catch it softly. Don't get too deep of a squat when you land. Try to control that descent. 8 seconds. Last one, 3, 2, squat pulses, wrap it up. I'm going to keep this video going for like the next hour just so Ben can't punch me when we finish up here. That's his punch stance. See how his fists are already balled up?
YouTube lets you blur out middle fingers. I'll have to learn some video editing to blur out a couple of
Well, I wouldn't try right now. We might have to repeat the entire workout. 25 seconds, guys.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
After these pulses, let's take about 30 seconds to transition into some stretches. The quads are beat up. We're going to target them first with a standing quad stretch. 10, 5, little air. Do you want me to come in? Alright guys, 10 seconds out and we'll go into a standing quad stretch. Put your foot in your hand, stand tall, use something for stability if you need it. Squeeze that glute, load the core, draw yourself into a nice stretch. We'll do a 50-second stretch on both sides with 10 seconds recovery or transition time. Looks like we have 4 stretches on the agenda today. 15 seconds. 5, 10 seconds, shake it out. 'Switching legs, same idea. If you're unstable, lean up against the wall, hold on to something. Sushi sounds really good right now. Real good. I think we need to support a local business.
If you look at it that way, then
15 seconds out. Our next one's going to be a kneeling hip flexor. So think about a normal hip flexor, yes, but then we're going to have our foot up on something like a Bulgarian split squat or a rear foot elevated split squat. It'll be more evident here shortly what we're doing. Rest. Yeah. So think about our split squat position with the foot up on something and then get into that stretch. This should put more intensity into the quad. With the foot on the floor, we're going to feel a lot of hip flexor with some quad. This one should be a little more quad, a little less hip. Still moving through the same sort of pattern here. The glutes tight, the hips are rolled under, the core is tight. Maybe a little bit of weight driven into the knee from those arms just to overload. And then Ben had a good cue last week about dragging that heel back. So his right foot, thinking about pulling it back into the other knee, and that will kind of it makes things feel real tight, real good. We'll get you that for 50 seconds for an exercise if you worked hard. 3 seconds. Stand up, let's switch sides here.
Ever do extra quad stretching is good.
15 seconds out. Next one's gonna be a standing pec stretch. Use the corner of a wall here, let the arm come back. Trying to feel a lot in the pec, you're gonna feel a lot in the front of the shoulder as well. If your right arm's back, your right leg's likely back as well. Kind of turn that hip forward. Then from here, changing the arm angle will change the stretch, the orientation of it, I suppose. A little lower, you might feel more chest, less shoulder, but just go to whatever position you need. 10 seconds out, and then we're gonna switch arms. Same thing, if the left arm's back, let's take that left leg back as well. And again, you can move that arm up or down a little bit. $20 left here, and then our last stretch is going to be the adductor stretch. Five, so nice deep base. We think about it kind of being like a butterfly position. Push the knees out, under control, not too aggressively, but definitely some tension there. You can shift the hips side to side a little bit if you'd like. $15 seconds out. We're just going to do this once here. So in 10 seconds, that's a wrap. If you'd like to do it a second time, feel free to, please. Or any of the other stretches, just rewind a little bit. Happy leg day.
Thanks for hanging in there with us.